Taxes. This video is going to be so boring. Oh my god, but you need it. So I'm starting this new channel and I wanted to do some things that weren't just like which scales to practice. Now, of course, I'm going to have tons of those videos, but I never see any videos about sort of how to handle getting paid, what to do with your money, how to do your taxes and stuff like that, how to function as a musician in today's world. And I want to cover a lot of things like that. So if you have any ideas about topics or if you've had questions about how to be a professional musician, put a comment down below and I'll try and do a video on it, or I'll try and answer and things like that. But this video today is about taxes. How do musicians do taxes? And you can get free vacations out of it and even free healthcare. Just don't tell anybody. Your parents will get mad. I have to give a disclaimer at this point. I'm not a financial advisor. Anything you hear on here is just my opinion and it's just advice. You're free to do whatever you want and follow any of these ideas at your own risk. And by the way, if you're enjoying the video, hit like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And hit the bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos in the future. All right, congratulations. You went to music school because you didn't want to be involved in the business world. You wanted to get as far away from a desk as you possibly could. You just wanted to be on stage, be in the spotlight, be away from the suit, be away from the boring life. You wanted to have so much fun. Well, it's time to do your taxes because you got paid, and that's awesome. But now you need to make sure you keep as much money as you can and you give the government what it's supposed to get. So you're going to need a desk, you're going to need a suit for some gigs that pay money, and instead of working for the man, you are the man because you run your own business. You're a freelance musician. So when you work for someone else, you get a W-2, like if you work for a business, like a grocery store, a gas station, if you're a lawyer, or if you're a doctor, or every other field, you pretty much get a W-2. As a freelance musician, or anyone that freelances, you get a 1099. And it's a different tax form, and when it comes time to do your taxes, you need to fill your taxes out as an independent business because that's what you are now, either a sole proprietor or an independent contractor. And as soon as you make that switch, all the doors open up. I personally recommend TurboTax. It makes everything super easy. You get some values, you can go back and fix them if something wasn't right. It gives you all the options for write-offs. It really clues you in to help you know what you can do as a musician. And it understands musicians. It has all the things in there that help us out to make sure we are doing our taxes right. So when it starts off, you choose sole proprietor or I run my own business. And now initially it's a little bit more of an expensive tax form, but you're going to save thousands of dollars. I can't tell you how many friends, myself included, that first year out of school, we went out and made money, and all of a sudden tax season came and you had maybe a W-2 and then you had like 10 1099s from random gigs, and your tax bill came and all of a sudden you owed $2,000 or $3,000 and you don't have it because rent is what it is and living in New York City is what it is. After a few years, you start to understand what write-offs are and how TurboTax is your friend and how not to end up having to pay that $2,000 to the government, but still getting to keep your business going and live your lifestyle. So once you hit sole proprietor at that first step of TurboTax, it opens the door to a magical world called write-offs. And for a musician, write-offs are amazing because pretty much every single thing we do is a write-off. If you go to dinner with your friends and you talk about a cool gig you did, you can write that dinner off because that was technically a business meeting. If you take a cab to a gig, you can write some of that off. If you buy reeds or an instrument and all these things, you can write that off. Pretty much our whole lives are write-offs. And then the secret part is because our products don't make any money anymore, we can operate at a lower tax liability than if we sold millions of records. So it's kind of one of the little loopholes that our world has left, and you should take advantage of it. First things first, you're going to need a business bank account, you're going to need a personal bank account, and you're going to need a personal savings account. You need these three because it's really important to keep your money organized. You want to try and keep your business money in the business bank account. In your checking account for personal stuff, you need that to pay rent and food and things like that. And then savings is something that you'll get later, and you would need the savings account for. Now in the beginning, you might not have too much money in the personal account. Really, it's just rent and food. and all your money will be in the business account and there'll be no money in savings. But eventually these things start to balance out, and you're going to be happy that you had these 3 accounts organized, because you're not going to have to go back and clear out the mess of everything in your personal account into these 2 other areas. All your 1099 money, any money you make from a gig, goes into your business account. Then what you want to do is create a budget for all your personal expenses: rent, food, clothing, travel, utilities, phone, going out with friends, things like that. And you want to take all that into a budget and set aside that amount of money each month into your personal account. Any money that you have left over after you do your budget, put into your business account, or leave it in your business account. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, click like. It really helps me out. And if you're interested, I have a totally free 6-part masterclass. Just sign up for it. And it talks about how to take yourself to a pro level right away in today's industry. It's really important to have a business account for a couple reasons. Throughout the year, if you always use your business account debit card for any purchase in music or your career, all those purchases get recorded and they get itemized into a nice little spreadsheet that makes it so easy to just plug those numbers into TurboTax, and it saves you so much time. So all the money you spend on traveling for your business, there'll be a travel section in TurboTax. All the money you spent on gear section. All the money you spent on promotion. It makes it so much easier. You don't have to sort through all your expenses or anything like that. It's all sorted for you, and it keeps track of every single thing you did. Another quick reason to have a business account is that there's grants out there that require them for depositing funds. So you might not need it initially, but someday you apply for a grant and they need a business account, and you got one. So let's talk about write-offs a little bit. You've made all your purchases on the business account, and it's all organized for you, and it goes into TurboTax. And then when you hit next on TurboTax, all of a sudden the amount of money you owe goes down. And that's amazing. That's what we want. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but the United States loves business and loves capitalism. So it really tries to help businesses out. And for us as musicians, that's actually super cool. So say for instance, you're on a gig and you make $1,000. If you didn't use write-offs, you would owe your tax bracket like 27% or something of that money at the end of the year in taxes. But if you hire, say, a videographer to do some recording of a show you have, and their fee is $800, you get to pass that money along to them, and you don't owe as much money on your taxes for that $800. It's really cool. The US tries to keep money in its system. That way it builds wealth in the United States. Makes sense to me. It's cool. I get to grow my business. I get to make some cool videos, and then I don't have to pay the tax on it because it goes to the next person. And hopefully the videographer is smart and they use that money to do something else in their business and they pass it along. As musicians, we don't get many breaks in the world, but write-offs are definitely one of them. So this is going to be something that is your friend. Here's some write-offs, and I'm going to read a list because there's just too many and I can't remember them. Reeds, repairs, gear, mouthpieces, saxophones, computers, dinners, flights, cost of hotel rooms, hiring musicians for a band, hiring editors for music videos, mixing the album. The entire cost of the album can be written off. Promotion for the album, like a publicist or any online ad sales and things like that, like on Facebook or Instagram. Anything that's related to your business can be written off in America. And for us, that's pretty cool because we get to grow our business and we don't have to pay as much in taxes. And just a reminder, I'm not a tax professional. You're taking my advice at your own risk. I'm just trying to help you navigate some of this stuff. I'm sure there's professionals in your area that could help you with the exact rules of the exact things, but I always lean toward TurboTax. And again, just do it at your own risk. Keeping track of all your expenses is really important as well because we all fear getting audited. That's the big fear. If you make all your purchases on the business account, that's one way to make everything really organized. You have a record of everything you spent for your business. Another thing people like to do is they have apps on their phones where they take pictures of receipts so that they can keep track of all their expenses and things like that for their business. So it's like double protection in case you get audited. The last thing I like to do is TurboTax has an audit defense thing at the end. You pay like $60, and if you get audited, you get a lawyer and they cover it all, which I always do. I always pay for, and it just makes me sleep well at night. And I can just go on with my life and not worry about this stuff except the one time a year when it happens. Let's talk about saving money. So in the beginning, it's going to be tough to save money, but eventually your business will grow and you'll have enough gigs and things like that you can save money, and that's really great. How much you save each year is completely up to you. A common place to save money to help lower your tax burden is to use things like IRAs. This is something you're definitely going to do your own research on. They are not complicated, but you definitely need to go further into detail than the pro saxophonist on the web about IRAs. I personally end up spending a little bit more money than I probably should each year because I want to grow my business. I've been working on growing my business in New York City for the last 12 years, and I feel pretty thankful it's paying off. I make most of my income pretty much from just playing saxophone, and that's pretty cool. I'm starting this new endeavor because the world is changing and everything is online, but I still want to grow my business, and I get to write off the camera and things like that. It helps me lower my tax bill. And my goal is, as my business keeps growing, eventually I'll make more money than I need to spend on my business, and I can start saving a lot more. Instead of working at maybe the same level gigs, I want to do better gigs. Another aspect of spending a good amount of money on your business and writing lots of things off is that you can get free healthcare. If you spend enough money on your business, it lowers your overall income at the end of the year to a point where you can get good deals on healthcare through the Affordable Care Act, depending on your state. And that's the United States trying to help new businesses grow and establish themselves. They want people to be safe when they're starting their new business, so it can become something that they dream about, because America is very pro-business. And again, as a saxophone player doing my own thing, I'm thankful for that. The last step is credit cards and getting free vacations. So you want to be careful with credit cards. You don't want to let the debt rack up, but there are credit cards that offer points and sign-up bonuses. So, for instance, if you're going to go out and spend all this money, say you're going to buy a new saxophone and you're going to spend $5,000 all of a sudden, there are credit cards that offer deals where if you spend a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time, you use their card, they give you points. And with those points, you can get free airline tickets to anywhere in the US. So if I know I'm going to make a lot of purchases, I might look into getting a new credit card temporarily so I can get those points. I also like certain credit cards that I use just for my business from day to day so that I can collect points over time for hotel rooms. And if you spend enough during the year on your business, you can get a free vacation, which is awesome. But again, be careful with credit cards. I'm not a financial advisor. Do all this stuff at your own risk. But I recommend looking into these perks because they're one of the few areas that musicians actually get perks in our lives. Write-offs and these credit card points really add up. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Check out my free masterclass, sign up, hit the bell, subscribe, and all those things really helps me out. Please reach out if you have any questions or any ideas of things that we can cover to help the professional musician live their life in a successful way. And check out my scale videos, those are coming, and things like that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon.